one of those two.
Cool. All right, we are live. All right. So before we get started, I'm just going to join the live from my other window just to check in. Cool. Okay, awesome. All right, so I've got this other window open. So if anybody has questions, you can go ahead and type your questions in, and I will be checking throughout the live today. All right, and this should be recorded. As you guys can see, I am streaming through StreamYard here. So let's see if we have anybody joining us, if I can see the live count. Okay. All right. Well, I think we are good to go ahead and get started. All right. So I'm Michelle. I work for Sexual Health Alliance, and this is Lee.
Hi, everybody. I'm Lee. I know it looks like it's pronounced like Ley, but I can assure you it's Lee.
Awesome. Yes. Okay. So I'll tell you a little bit. Oh, we do have somebody on. Hello, Erica. Awesome. Thanks for joining us. All right, so I'll just tell you a little bit about Sexual Health Alliance, and then I'll tell you a tiny bit about what I do, and then I'll hand it over to Lee. So Sexual Health Alliance provides education about sexuality. So we provide certifications, which we're going to go into depth more later, but we provide certifications for sex therapy, sexuality educator, counselor, sex coach, and consultant. Plus, we provide a variety of specialty certifications. We also provide continuing education. So if you're already a sex therapist and you're like, well, I don't really need a certification, I'm already certified, we do continuing education. And our continuing education Sexceptional weekend conferences are amazing. We have really great topics. We get professionals from all over the world to come in and talk about sexuality. So it's really cool. So that's just a tiny bit about Sexual Health Alliance. If you're wondering, like, well, I don't even know what this is really. So we are an education company, and I do community outreach. So I'm the community development coordinator. So I get to talk to people about our programs and what we do. And I also do some content writing. So if you've seen some of the blogs and stuff from Sexual Health Alliance or our sister company, Respark Therapy, that's a little bit what I do. And I'll pass it over to Lee.
Yeah, thanks, Michelle. So what do I do? So at Shaw, at the Sexual Health Alliance, I am the LGBTQI plus curriculum coordinator. So I go through curriculum, I design curriculum, I build curriculum. I'm actively on the ground looking for materials to add in to keep our community and all of our certification programs on the cutting edge of LGBTQI plus care concepts, etc. Right? Because as we know, competency in LGBTQI plus issues is not static, it's dynamic. So if you're not on the cutting edge, you're already way behind. So my job is to keep us on that cutting edge. I also work with Midori as a co-facilitator for one of our specialty programs, the Kink Informed certification, which we can talk all about later on. And like Michelle, I also write a good bit of content. So if you are ever hopping on our TikTok, you might see my face offering little quips and little bits. And yeah, you might see some of my blog posts over at the Nymphomedia blog.
Yes, awesome. All right, so I'll start out by telling all of you about our certification programs. So we have some main certification programs, or what we call them, and then we also have supplementary certification programs. So I'll tell you a little bit about our main certification programs. So we have a certification program for sex therapy, sexuality educator, and sexuality counselor. And those three are all eligible to be AASECT certified. So if you're looking for a company who can provide you with really great cutting edge material about sexuality for you to get certified by AASECT, those three main certifications are eligible for AASECT. And then we also have the sex coach and consultant program, which is really awesome because it's a one-of-a-kind program in the way that we accept people from all backgrounds. You don't have to have a bachelor's degree or a master's degree to get into this program. Whereas for the other ones, you have to have a master's degree and be on your way to licensure or already licensed to be a sex therapist. And for the educator and counselor programs, you have to have a bachelor's degree. So those are kind of like our prerequisites to get into those. And that's actually from ASECT. So we didn't make that rule. ASECT says you have to have those things to get certified. So maybe you have tons of experience working in the sexuality industry, but you never got your bachelor's degree. And you want to be certified as a sex coach and consultant, and you can join our program. You don't have to have that educational component. So you can just wow us with your personal statement about your experience and why you want to be in this program, and you're on your way to acceptance. So in our programs are really comprehensive. We have online learning. So that's another cool thing. It's all self-paced. You don't have to attend a session at a certain time, several times a week, like with other educational programs. You can do it when you want. If you're a busy professional, you can do it during your lunch break. Or if you're a mom with a bunch of kids, you can do it after they go to bed. So it's really up to you. So it's online, self-paced. You could do our program from anywhere in the world, which is awesome. And then also we have Sexceptional Weekends, which I mentioned earlier. And those are weekend conferences, which we've got one coming up next weekend, which me and Lee will be at. So we are helping to administrate the conference. So we're going to talk about that at the end too, if you're interested in attending that. So yeah, that's kind of just the lowdown on our main certification programs. And if you have questions about what it's like or the curriculum, we can go more into depth about that as well, or I can send you private information. You just have to let me know. All right, so that's kind of our main certification. Did you have anything you wanted to add to that, Lee?
Yeah, so I have a question for you, Michelle.
Yes.
So suppose I am a therapist or a counselor or an aspiring educator, and I'm not sure if I want to get ASEC certified. What about SHAW? So if I just get a SHAW certification, am I good to go?
Yeah, so SHAW is internationally recognized. So Sexual Health Alliance, we have had graduates and we have students from all over the world. So we are recognized. So if you're applying for a job or you're getting your own coaching or education clients, they're going to see that you're certified by Sexual Health Alliance, and that's going to hold on its own. So some people choose to do the ASEC certification because maybe their job requires it, or, because they wanted to add a little something extra, but you don't have to go into ASEC certification. The SHAW certification on its own is great. It holds itself.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. So with that, should we say a little bit about the specialty programs?
Yes. Let's jump into the specialty programs.
Cool. So in addition to the tracks that Michelle was just talking about, the sex therapist, sex counselor, sex educator, and also sex coach and consultant, we also have a series of specialty programs. These are a mix of asynchronous and synchronous learning. And the synchronous components are really exciting because you get to share a space, a virtual space, but a space nonetheless with world-renowned leading experts on these topics, right? So the programs that we have currently, I mentioned earlier, are kink informed certification. So if you're interested in sort of the consensual exploration of the erotic non-normative kink and the subcultures of BDSM that have formed around it, or if you want to learn just what I just said and what any of that means, this is a great certification for you. A lot of your clients, no matter what profession you're in, any profession, if you have clients, a good chunk of your clients are kinky people. So knowing how to navigate and not invalidate and not perpetuate stereotype, not re-traumatize folks who might have been through some stuff. These are very, very important skills. Okay? So we've got our kink informed certification program, which is so much fun, let me tell you. And I can tell you a little bit about the breakdown of the demographic. Yeah, we got a lot of therapists in there, some aspiring sex therapists, some already there, right? We've also got intimacy consultants. We also have sex workers, right? We have people who are involved in the tech industry. It's really an interdisciplinary, multimodal student body, which creates some really fascinating, not just conversations, but opportunities for collaboration. Same thing goes for our other programs. So in addition to the kink informed certification, we also have an amazing consensual non-monogamy certification program. Right? So non-monogamy is an increasingly visible topic as it's becoming sort of increasingly practiced and increasingly destigmatized. Right? Though there is predictably, with any effort to destigmatize, there is the pushback. So here we learn how to navigate that. We learn cultural competence with non-monogamous communities and subcultures. Right? Super fun stuff. But on top of that, we've got this really cool other program that pushes back on sort of widespread sex addiction models, which what we know from research and scholarship, from practice and from lived experience, aren't always the best thing for our clients who are struggling with their sexual behavior. So we offer an out of control sexual behavior program that sort of reframes this idea of sex addiction and instead frames it as problematic or out of control behavior that occurs outside of your own preferred agency and maybe shows up in ways that are detrimental to your own well-being. Right? Super fun stuff. Right? And that third program, that out of control sexual behavior, that problematic sexual behavior program, that ties directly into our upcoming Sexceptional weekend. So Michelle, was there any other stuff I left out about the specialty programs, or should we dive right into talking about next weekend?
Yeah, let's just go for talking about next weekend.
Cool, let's do it. Yeah,
All right. Yeah, you go ahead, start, Lee.
Yeah. So basically, we've got, remember those world leading experts that I mentioned that you get to share space with? Well, we got them coming in for 2 full-on 8-hour days on, what is it, the 14th and the 15th? Do I have those days right?
Let me see. Let me double check. It's on a Saturday and Sunday, so I think it's the
13th and 14th.
Yes.
Yes. So May 13th and 14th. This is a virtual conference. There is a synchronous option where you can attend synchronously and, show up on camera, raise your hand, engage in the chat, really interact with these experts as you're learning from them and also as our whole community is learning from itself internally. It's a beautiful thing to watch. And of course, you can also, if you can't make it during that time, you can get a recording and experience the same material asynchronously. So what else should we say about it, Michelle?
Yeah, so I'll introduce some of the speakers that we're going to have at the Sexceptional weekend. So, like Lee said, it's rethinking sex addiction. So we don't actually use that term sex addiction. So we call it out of control sexual behavior, or OCSB. So it's all about assessment and treatment. And we've got Michael Vigorito, Dr. Wendy Miller, and Josh Grubbs. Those are our three main experts that are going to be there at the Sexceptional weekend. And then I'm going to send you guys the link to our event page so you can check it out. I'm going to put that in the comments now. And then I'll just go over a few of the highlights of things that we are going to cover. So there we go. I just dropped that event into the comments if you're interested. So there's learning objectives for the weekend. So maybe if you are interested in this topic and you need some of those continuing education credits to renew your license, you can look at some of our learning objectives. So we're going to review current conceptualizations of sexual dysregulation, apply a non-pathological conceptualization for sexual behavior problems, and describe clinicians' ethical responsibility when assessing and treating problematic or out of control sexual behaviors. So that's just kind of the top 3 objectives for the weekend. But it's a Saturday and Sunday event. So it's 8 hours on Saturday, 8 hours on Sunday, and you get to take breaks. You can, we're going to have a lunch and learn. So you get to listen to like a podcast and take a little lunch break in the middle. And it's really fun. We do breakout groups. I know I got to do one of our conferences when I first started at Sexual Health Alliance. I did our SAR, which is our sexuality attitude reassessment. And that was super cool. We got to do breakout groups and I got to talk with people. So it's really interactive. So our weekends are not boring. Let's just say that. It's not one of those things where you're just sitting there and it's just like click, PowerPoint, click, click, click. It's not like that at all. There's music, there's videos, there's discussion. Like, it's a really fun event. So I would encourage you, if you've never been to one of our events before, to check it out because it's going to be awesome.
Absolutely. And I can say, as a former Shaw student myself, so I am a graduate of the Sexuality Counselor program. The conferences have always been among my absolute favorite parts of the experience here. Over the last couple of years, I have been to some absolutely amazing Sexceptional weekends. Even got to organize one of them myself, which was a lot of fun. Right? And this one I am really, really excited about because, like all of our topics, this is a super important topic. This is a game changer for a lot of practice and for a lot of clients. This reframe can be so powerful, can be so helpful in helping people work through both their struggles and their traumas and also their sexual self-image. Right? So I'm here for it. I'll be there for it. And I hope to see many of you there for it too.
Yes, we're both going to be there. So if you'd like to see our beautiful faces, you can show up. We will be there. We will be the admins. So we'll be checking in. We'll be helping out with groups, taking attendance, doing all that good stuff. So we will be there. We're there to support you. If anything comes up during the conference that you need to talk about, we're there to be on your side. So we've got that coming up. Let's see, what have we covered? We've covered our main programs, specialty programs, the upcoming conference. What else do we want to talk about?
So
many options. Let's see. I don't know if anybody has questions, you can drop them in the comments. I know somebody said they couldn't see the live, that they could hear us, but they couldn't see us. So also I am recording this, so we're going to post we are going to post the recording later. But if anybody has questions right now, you can drop those in the comments. So maybe we can go over like some logistics. Like, okay, so you've listened to us talk about it. You're like, that sounds pretty cool. Maybe I want to apply for one of these programs. So how you can apply is you can go to our website at sexualhealthalliance.com. You click on Get Certified, and then you choose the program that you're interested in. And so, like I had mentioned earlier, there are some prerequisites, and we actually have a really fun quiz that can help you decide. So maybe you're like, I don't know what certification is best for me, and you're trying to choose from one of those main certifications. I have a really fun quiz for you, which I can also drop that in the comments that can help narrow down your options. And also, of course, we're available to chat if you need help deciding what program is the best for you. But yeah, it's super easy to apply. You go to our website, you fill out your application, and that's it. We have a great team. Oh, another thing, we're all like real people behind the scenes. Like, there's not a machine that's going to be like, it's not AI going to be like, thanks for your application. Like, there's a real person who sits there and looks at every application, and like, we're real people. We respond to your emails. Like, we are a very cohesive team. So that's another great thing about us. Oh, yeah, that's what I wanted to talk about. What makes us different? What makes us special? If somebody's like, well, why Sexual Health Alliance? I wanted to talk about that too.
I also love, real quick, Michelle, that you think I'm not an AI. Thank you so much.
I do think you're not an AI.
Well, good. All part of my plan.
Right. For the AI takeover.
Right.
No. So one of the things that makes us special, like besides our amazing team that's always there to help you, like we have a great community. So once you're accepted into our program, you get admission to our private Facebook group where you can ask questions about the curriculum. You can talk about things that are going on, like with your practice. You'll see where we have our events. Like the Facebook group is really cool. You can ask other people in our community, like, hey, did you have any trouble with this module? Like, do you have any advice on this? And there's current students, past students, everybody's really willing to help out. So I've seen this community happen like within this online Facebook group where everybody's willing to jump in and help other people with their questions. So that's pretty cool.
And I've been involved in some organizations that kind of tout their Facebook group as one of the perks, and then you get in there and it's dead. It's crickets. Ours is not. Ours is active. Ours is lively. People are getting to know each other. And in addition to it being a resource for the things that Michelle said, I see people really collaborate, and I see great networking opportunities. People being like, hey, I have a podcast. I'm looking for guests from my podcast. Or, using it as a source for, finding referrals, right? Yeah. There's all sorts of things. So it's really great for building community, connection, collaboration. I like it.
Yeah, it is really cool. And that's another thing too, because, sometimes you'll have business questions, about like, running your coaching business or your educational business. And people are so willing to jump in and help. And like Lee said about the referrals, like they'll be like, is there a sex therapist in this state, who specializes in this? And like, so it's a good way to not only help your clients, find the best provider, but also to give referrals to people who are qualified and who really care about the sexuality education and well-being of their clients. So that's another pretty cool thing.
And it's also super fun when we, on occasion, have in-person events. So like, for example, Michelle mentioned our virtual SAR, Sexual Attitude Reassessment Program, that we had just a few months ago. Back in December, we had an in-person one in Jamaica, and got to meet a whole bunch of people from the community. And it was so nice to share physical space with these people who I had interacted with both in the Facebook group and so much in our conferences. It felt like we all already knew each other. So by the time we got to the in-person event, there was already an established sense of community. I love that.
Yeah, I think that is so cool. And yeah, I was going to mention that too, like the events you can go to with this community. Like our founder, Heather, she's currently in Berlin. There's a study abroad program. So they went to Amsterdam and Berlin, did a ton of fun stuff. If you follow us on social media, you can see pictures that are going to be posted from these events. By the way, we're on Facebook, we're on Instagram, we're on TikTok, we're on LinkedIn, we're everywhere. So you can find us all over the place. Yeah. So yeah.
I think another thing that really sets Shaw apart is, again, how interdisciplinary it is. Our community is made up of clinicians and a wide range of non-clinicians, also a wide range of clinicians too. But it's just very cool to be in a space where presenters and students alike, we're seeing representation from therapists, artists, intimacy consultants who are working, say, on film sets, sex workers, which is a really important one for me too. The amount of sex worker visibility and advocacy that I see done through the Shaw community, and the destigmatization and the inclusion and even centering of sex worker voices is really, really powerful. I've been thrilled to see it.
Yeah, and that's something that really does set us apart. And I think that's amazing because I think traditionally sex workers have been excluded from this like professional component, or maybe their experience as a sex worker has not been counted as sexuality knowledge or education. And that's kind of where like our coach and consultant program comes in too. Because if you're a sex worker, you obviously have tons of knowledge that you can share with people and so much value that you bring to the table. And whereas other programs might say, oh, well, you don't have a bachelor's degree in psychology. Sorry, you can't get into our program. Like we don't do that. Like your value doesn't only lie in what you've gotten at the university. Like you have so much to give and so much to share. And I think that's where our sexuality coach and consultant program is really different than things you'll find other places.
Yeah. And I'm thinking back to our conference last October on queer and trans sexualities. And I'm thinking of the lineup, and we had an RN, a clinician, an MD, a comic artist who does sex education comics and other advocacy work, a Ph.D. philosopher, a sex worker who also works as a coach, and a celebrated activist, internationally known, right? That's quite a spread of educators. And that means you're getting not just a diversity of perspectives in terms of identity, you're also getting a diversity of perspectives in terms of professional background. And all of us can benefit from that. Sex workers can learn from clinicians. Clinicians can and need to learn from sex workers.
Yeah. 100%, because I think especially in the USA where sex work is so stigmatized. I mean, it's like that all over the world, but especially in the USA, like it's illegal and it's, there's this stigma with it. And there's so much to learn from people who have been out there. And in so many ways, sex workers also work on the daily as a counselor or an educator, and so there's just so much to learn from people.
Absolutely.
Yeah. All right, so we've got about 5 minutes left. So if anybody has questions, you can go ahead and drop those in the comment section and we will be happy to answer those. So let's see. I'm just pulling up our event to double check for questions.
And while Michelle's taking a peek at that, I'll just reiterate, if y'all want to stay in the loop, feel free, give us a follow here on LinkedIn. And by us, I mean Sexual Health Alliance. Give me a follow if you want. I won't opt Michelle in. I'll let her do that on her own.
You can follow me.
Cool. Or, you can follow us on our Instagram, Sexual Health Alliance, our TikTok. Check out the Nymphomedia blog where there is tons of fascinating content, like tons of content, which is informative, fun, and sometimes a little spicy.
Definitely. We do. And that's another thing. Like, we do not shy away from anything. Like, you want to talk about it, we are here to talk about it. So you're going to find so much great information, like on our blog, and during our conferences. Like, we like to say that we do radical collaboration. So we stay at the forefront of the most important topics that are out there. And, we are just the most accepting community. So one of our main points is that we are a shame-free environment. So you can come in. I've seen really intimate discussions happen in our group settings, and you know that you're surrounded by like-minded people who aren't going to judge you, and you can feel very comfortable in our community. All right. Well, it doesn't look like we have any questions, but I just want to follow up and say, if you think of something, you can send us a message on LinkedIn. Like, you can message Sexual Health Alliance. You can message me personally. You can also go to our website and send us an email through our contact form there at sexualhealthalliance.com. If you would like us to do more of these lives, you can let us know, or if there's a certain topic that you want us to talk more about, like if you want us to really dive into like the sex therapy program or the sex coach and consultant program, you can let us know and we could do like a whole live, like diving into the curriculum. I could get our curriculum specialist on here, and Lee, you could help, and like we could all just like dive in together and like be there for that.
That would be so fun.
Sori says, happy to join here. We're happy to have you, Sori. All right. So that's about it. Our time is about up. So last chance for questions. All right. So if you want to join our event next weekend, go ahead and check out the link that I put in the comments. We would love to have you there. It's going to be really fun. Like I said, it's a Saturday and Sunday, 8 hours on Saturday, 8 hours on Sunday, but you get a break in the middle. Very flexible. You can get up and walk around. You can take, have snacks. Like, it's like a whole, like, very comfortable online environment. So,
and you can get up to, 16 ASEX CEUs?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. 16 ASEX CEUs. Yeah. And I mean, honestly, like, I come from like the mental health world, and like, you know, people are always looking for continuing education opportunities. And like, I'm saying, if you have to go learn about something, there is nothing more interesting to me than learning about sexuality topics. So it's like, if you need to
Mhm.
get those hours in for your license renewal, like, we have so many great options. I mean, we do these exceptional weekends like every other month almost, like sometimes every month. It just depends. But we have tons of events that you can come to and earn your CEUs. All right. Well, I think that's it for today. Thank you so much, Lee. This was fun. We need to do another
Ew.
one.
Yeah, let's do it again sometime.
Yeah. All right. Like we said, message us with your questions, reach out and email us. We're a very friendly bunch, so we love to talk to you. We would be happy to do video calls and one-on-ones. So that's something I do a lot with community outreach is I talk to people, I schedule video calls where we can just chat. So just let me know if you've got questions and we're here for you.
Thanks, everybody.
All right. Have a great day. Bye.